Alright, hello everybody! Welcome back to Historian Stitch, or welcome to Historian Stitch. Um, Today, well, for the past couple weeks, I've been working on my stays again, which, for those of you who don't know, stays are basically the precursor to corsetry. They're basically a corset in and of themselves, just shaped differently and different time period. Um, they are The set that I am making has a little bit of shaping to it in the waist, but it's not pulling the waist in necessarily. It's giving a solid structure to kind of pin the clothes to instead of giving you a specific shape. They still are giving you a specific shape. Um, stays are beyond my thought process currently, apparently. But basically, I am going through and reworking all of the boning channels that you can just barely see. Um, I came to the conclusion that maybe the blue, which is in here, you can see, the blue ones that I made a while back, I didn't think were fitting correctly. And I've talked to enough people since then, and I put them together one more time and realized the, um, it's not buckram. It's like the cross stitch material, like the stuff with all the holes in it. I found some good linen, heavy linen cross stitching material. That is part of my 4 layers here. The first one is cotton canvas, that second one is that linen, and then the blue, and then the green on the outside. I will have a linen lining when I'm done, but I think, fingers crossed, when I get it boned completely and done, these will fit really nicely in the way I want them to. Fingers crossed. Elsewise, I will be making another set, which I'll probably do anyway. But yeah, I had everything stitched down. Went to put the boning in. I am using my spring steel, like true spring steel, um, boning because I have 7 rolls of it from when I was making 1860s corsets. I thought I was going to use the reading that I have, but it's not straight necessarily, and I don't feel like splitting that much caning and hoping for the best. When I know this will work, it'll last for a while. I have it on hand. Um, I want to finish these before the end of the month, basically. Um, and if they don't fit properly, I'm gonna wear them for those 2 days anyway and say to heck with it. But the bones didn't fit. These are 1/4 inch boning. My boning channels were too narrow and not straight at all because, as you can see on the back, all of those lines were the ones I had to begin with, and it wasn't going to fit. These, though, are fitting perfectly now. And yeah, I am working on. This is one of the side pieces. I think that's the side back? No, this is side front. Got it. This is kind of an underarm bit because it flares out over your hips. Finished the side back piece a little bit ago. One thing that I am absolutely changing with this, thanks to Miss Lorelai at work, is instead of just backlacing, which might change. Instead of backlacing, I am going to leave the bust piece separate. Put eyelets in the front, put eyelets in the back. That way I can lace in and out of it easier, and for a working woman impression, that makes a little more sense anyway, I think. But that also gives for more room of, holy crap, I'm hot, I need to lace a little bit. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm at currently. And I'm going to take y'all through the rest of the journey here, at least a little bit. Try to. We'll see if I remember to. With any luck, I will have these stitched by the end of the night. I can bone them tomorrow, and then I can hem everything down real quick, which in this case, hemming is going to be, like in the case of this spot here, folding it over, trimming it down just a little bit, and whip stitching it down, because the inside's going to be covered in a lining anyway. And you don't stitch them together the same way you do a corset. The one thing I have learned and kind of like, at least in thought. And how I feel about that when we actually get to it. But yeah, with that, let's see how this goes. Alright, hey guys. It's the next day. I did not come back and finish putting the channels and everything, partially because, where I paused the last chunk here, I screwed up on this piece, so I need to rip some stitches out because my lines are crooked. I didn't think about where I was putting them when I drew them out, so this one needs redone. So I'll be ripping a couple of stitches out of this one once I find the seam ripper, which is currently my problem. I don't know where it went. But I have two more with lines already on them to get through. And then I need to draw them out on this one as well. So after I get stitching ripped out of that one, I will remark that one and mark this one, and then I can bone it. We'll see how long this lasts, because it's really hot in my sewing room here. It's really hot in the house. But if I get this done, I can go aggravate some people instead. And I still end up sitting outside even when I go to my parents' house. So, yeah, either way, it will be complete. Like, all the boning channels will be done today. Hopefully before lunch. We'll see how that goes. But, yeah, just day 2-ish continuing. So, just had a thought, like, especially as of late in the German farm, because I've been working on these. Um, there's been a lot of conversation of why pair of bodies and stays and corsets and all of that weren't intended to be torture devices, and they're actually really comfortable, depending on who you are. They're pretty comfortable, especially if they're made right and they're made for you. But we've been having these conversations a lot, which, when we're sitting in the German farm at Frontier Culture, we're sitting in the tailor shop when we're talking about those things, which could have been a spot where these things were being made, primarily by men. Which, the thought process in my head currently is that why in current society everybody about it, of how it's part of the patriarchal system and all of that absolute BS, because the men were the ones who were able to make them. Because let me tell you, it's one bit of boning that I'm trying to put into this channel, and my hands already hurt. I don't have the hand strength to do this. That is why guys were primarily the ones making these things, not the women. This I just broke my own brain. Just because certain people primarily made these different things does not mean that they are the ones who wanted to make them or even appreciated them. Because most women weren't making their cages and hoops and crinolines, whatever the heck you want to call them, in the 1850s and 60s, 70s, 80s, all the way through to early 1900s. Women weren't making those, the men were. The men hated them. They were making fun of them in comic strips. Okay. No. Oh, thoughts while sewing. Okay. My rant is done. I will continue sewing again. Alright, so the rant for this, in fact, was not done. What I was trying to say was one of the biggest things that I hear while making stays or corsets or supportive garments is women were forced to wear these things by the men in society in those time periods, and they were bad for you and just terrible things. And they weren't. As I said in my small rant, men hated them, but the men were the only ones who had the strength to make them. They are also a very different way of sewing and putting things together than women are typically used to, because draping and patterning is very different from patterning and then draping. It's a very different thought process. With stays, you have to pattern it and then drape it to the person, or fit it to the person, rather. Same with corsets, same with bodies. Any supportive garment, that is how you have to do it, versus anything else. So, what I was trying to get across with that rant was, it's not that, like, yes, the men were making them, but they were making them because the women wanted them, not because they wanted women to wear them. If that makes any sense at all. And from there, I will leave it alone.
cents for the morphine and 15 cents for the beer. 25 cents for the morphine to take me away from here. I'm gonna get a drink, don't you wanna go? I'm gonna get a drink, don't you wanna go? I'm gonna get a drink, don't you wanna go? Get a little soldier's joy. Grasshopper sitting on a sweet potato vine. Grasshopper sitting on a sweet potato vine. Grasshopper sitting on a sweet potato vine. And I won't got the chicken and say you're mine.
It's done. Okay. They are all the channels are done. There are 2 channels that already have bones in them, and they're not coming in. Well, one of them. This one I need to figure out. Because they're supposed to be eyelets first. And then that bit of boning right here along the edge helps keep the eyelets from ripping out entirely. And I might have measured wrong on this side because you can see the bone. But it'll be fine. I just needed to work for 2 days. If it works for far past that point, we're doing great. But yeah, now I get to put the bones in and cut them. And then I'm going to put the eyelets in. No. Put the bones in. Stitch things down. Put the eyelets in. Then I can... Eyelets have to be last. Never mind. Because the lining... The eyelets need to go through the lining. Too. Not just cover. Alright. Boning, hemming, eyelets. No. Boning, hemming, putting it together, lining it, then the eyelets. Then I have mostly a hair stain. So, I'm going to go fix my coffee and get the bones out of the car. And then my hands are going to wish they had died, but it'll be fine. Alright, y'all. So, this is one chunk of many at this point because I don't want to have videos that are way too long. But if you would like to see more of these stays being made, keep on going. There's probably going to be like 4 more of these. Well, no, not 4. At least 2 more of these videos. Hopefully they're a little bit shorter than the 20-minute one we have here. But, like, follow, subscribe. I am on Facebook, and that's about it at this point. It's just YouTube and Facebook. We're leaving it at that at this point. But yeah, keep watching that. Hopefully I will have them done within the week, and then I'll be good. But that also will be determined by how well my brain works, because I'm currently trying to figure out measurements for a ball gown that I've been wanting to work on for 7 years now. I have the material. I know what I want to do with it, just haven't gotten there yet, and y'all will be seeing a lot of that project too because I'm super excited about it. It's a velvet and silk. Yeah, that one's gonna be dangerous. But nonetheless, if you want to keep watching, keep on going. If not, perfectly fine. I apologize for how long some of these are, and if you have any suggestions or things you want to see, and assuming you've made it to this point of the video, put it in the comments below. I enjoy reading the comments and seeing people's opinions on things. So, yeah, with that, everybody have a good day. Bye!